fellow aviators, the Rev Simmer here. Welcome to this Friday night live stream. We'll be flying the Aerosoft CRJ 700 this evening between Atlanta, Georgia and Key West, Florida. Really excited to be here with you all tonight. Looking forward to this flight. We'll have an RNAV approach at the end of it, which should be a lot of fun. But let's go ahead, let's hop on into the aircraft and go ahead and start getting it fired up. So let's head on in there now and see what we have. Alright, so here we are in the cockpit. So first thing we need to do, let's go ahead and get our power up check completed. So we'll go over here and make sure all of our circuit breakers are in, which they are, and hop right back into the captain's seat and go through a quick check here. Make sure the irises are off, ADG handles stowed, radars are both off, the flaps are at 0, thrust levers are at shut off, flight spoilers are retracted, thrust reversers are off, hydraulic switches are all in the off position. Let's go ahead and turn on the battery master switch really quickly. And we can see we do have AC power available, so I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the AC power. And let's go down here and make sure everything looks good on the electric synoptic page. And we can see we have the electric AC power shown on the AC side. DC side is fully powered also. And we'll come down here and go ahead and turn on our nav light, get our hydraulic switches on so we can turn on the stab trim. And that is now on, and there is our spoiler stab in test advisory message on ED number 2. We'll wait for that to go away. And while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, need to keep the parking brake on. Let's go ahead and put the IRSs into nav mode, and we'll go ahead and start getting that aligned really quickly. So on the POSINIT page, we're here at Atlanta, so KATL. And then we move over here to the second page of the POSINIT for the GPS position and punch that into the set position field. Alright, so there we go. So we're going ahead and getting our IRSs set up, and I'll run through the quick check for the power up now that we've done the flow. So circuit breakers are checked, radars off, thrust levers shut off, battery master on, AC electrics are set, hydraulic pumps 1, 3A, 3B, and 2 were on, and we did the stab trim switches engaged and checked. We'll go ahead and move those switches now on the hydraulic panel to auto and on. So 3A is the only one that remains on. Parking brake is on. We do have the advisory message there, and the IRS is set to nav now. So power up check's complete. We'll do a quick receiving check, and we are going to assume once again this is not the first flight of the day. So that'll allow us to get on out of here. It's about a 2-hour flight down to Key West today, so we'll need all of that time. So we have all our documents on board, emergency equipment's all good. We'll go ahead and check our oxygen mask, make sure that's good, and we have plenty of oxygen on board. 1840 psi is what we're showing on ED2 there. And we'll arm the emergency lights, get the no smoking seatbelts signs on, because passengers are going to start boarding any minute now. So I think they're pretty much ready to go. So we should have them on here. I'm just starting up PAC-X really quickly so we can get that going. And here they come. Perfect. And also we'll be using Pushback Express today, so that should be neat to have that. So this will be my first full flight using that also. So definitely look forward to that. Their jet bridge is still connected. Good. And I'm going to go ahead and start up the APU just in case something crazy goes on with the external power. So we'll do our fire detection, fire X monitor test, and we have fire status OK, advisory message, APU, fire warning, and bottle discharge was working. So APU power fuel switch on. Looking for that APU in-bite test to finish, which it has, and we'll go ahead and fire up the APU. And I'm going to start our timer just to keep a time on how long it has been starting up. Alright, good. So let's run through our receiving check Documents are checked. Maintenance status is checked. Emergency equipment's checked. Emergency lights are armed. Standby instruments, they are checked. And gear pins are checked. Receive and check is complete. So I'll go ahead and begin punching in our flight plan we have here. We did actually get a PDC from Vatsim, so I have that written down, and it's actually our route is going to be as filed. We're going to be squawking 7214, so I'm going to punch that in the transponder really quickly before we go any further. I'm going to put that in both ATC 1 and 2 just to make sure we don't accidentally start squawking the wrong code. And our initial altitude is going to be 10,000 feet on the departure, which I think we already have set. Yes, we do. Perfect. And on the ATIS right now, you can see it's pretty stormy out, and that should not be as much of an issue as we head south out of the Atlanta area. But winds are 200 at 3. We're expecting runway 27 right per our PDC, and 10 miles visibility. Obviously, that's going to be variable with the rain showers. Like y'all saw when we were in the intro video here, visibility goes down quite a bit when the rain showers start coming in. But 3013 is going to be our altimeter setting this afternoon, so I'll punch that in on the PFD1 here, 3013, and we'll cross-check that across the board. So 3013 is set on both PFDs and the standby instrument, so perfect. And let's go ahead and start programming the FMS while we're waiting on everybody to finish boarding. So once again, that POSINET page, that is good. We've already done that. We're going Atlanta to Key West, which is Kilo Echo Yankee Whiskey. And we actually do have an alternate of Miami International today in case we can't get into Key West. And let me pull up my flight plan here. We're going to be flying, our flight number is 5787. We are Endeavor. So our call sign will be Endeavor 5787. And first fix is we're going to be going off the Bang to Luck. So I'll put in our first fix here is going to be Luck. Which, let me, I think it's going to have us on this. I think we have to put in the departure and arrival, the runway and other things first. So we're playing 27 right. And the Bang to departure, Luck transition. And then from Luck, it's Bulzi, B-U-L-Z-I, and Carter. And this is going to actually be via a Q route, Q81. So now we type that in, we're going to put it in the left side here so that it has the, hopefully that'll work for us. Let's see. Yep, that's how you have to do it in the Aerosoft. Okay. Good to know. I'm going to cancel. Well, I guess I got to redo it all now. Apologize for that. At least we get to see it again, right? So Atlanta, Key West, and Endeavor 5787 is in there, and whoops, back to the flight plan. We need to put Miami in as our alternate, and departure arrival 27 right's our runway. Wow, that storm is really not letting off out there, so it's gonna be an interesting departure. So Bang 2 to Bang, Luck, direct to Bulzi. Go ahead and put Bulzi in again. There we go. And then it's Q81 to Carter. So Q81, Carter. Perfect. Direct to Gigi, or Gigi maybe? I think it's probably Gigi. G-I-G-I-H. And direct Key West VOR. and then direct to the airport, KEYW. Alright, perfect. So we'll execute that, and we're looking at a total distance of 562 nautical miles. We're playing at 611. Actually, it's showing 600 nautical miles. Perfect. So, and playing at 611. So that's really close. That looks good. Alright, so Perfinet on. I'm going to go ahead and let's get our performance set over here on the EFB. So I changed to 0 fuel weight. That's typically just an easier way to go ahead and get all the weights set than trying to put in all those individual things there. But our 0 fuel weight today is going to be 61,562. So we got to move this way up here. So hit the double arrows to get up there, and then we can go to 61.6 is going to be pretty close, and our ramp fuel is 10,603. So 10,662 will work. So I will set that payload in the simulator, copy that Perfinet data to the FMS. We're looking at a takeoff trim setting of 7.2. So we'll go ahead and get that set in for the stab trim just to make sure it's already there. So 7.2 is set in the stab trim, and now all of that is being reflected in the FMS also. And then flight level 370 is going to be our cruise altitude, so we'll get that in there. And for our alternate cruise altitude, looks like it is going to be at flight level 190. So we'll put that in here in the alternate cruise altitude field. And for our ISA deviation and the winds aloft, I gotta look this up on the release. It's actually 0 for the ISA deviation from the standard atmosphere. So we have a standard atmosphere today, and our winds, we're looking at a tailwind of 9 knots. So that's going to be +9, so P9 for our tailwind. So we'll put that in. All right, sounds like the flight attendant said that we are all boarded up. We'll have 2,000 pounds of reserve fuel. So there's that. Taxi fuel is going to be 500 pounds per hour release off of SemBrief. And Adam Cagle has subscribed. Thank you so much for your subscription. Abraham Cagle, welcome aboard. Glad to have you here, Abraham. All right, so that's the Perfinet. We'll move on to the radio page. Make sure these are in auto mode. We'll be in white needles. It's going to be a full rated takeoff, especially with the thunderstorms around. We'll have continuous ignition on. And fuel management, we're in predicted mode. And on the MFD menu, this is how I like to set it up. High nav aids, airports off, missed approach. VNAV window on the flying pilot side, which will be the captain today. And then on the second page, range, altitude select, give us our magenta banana bar for where we'll reach our selected altitude. And then the long range nav position just to keep track on our IRS, make sure it's looking good. And I'll put the same settings on the right side, except the window will be on instead of VNAV. And that will allow us to see how much fuel we're going to have when we land at Key West. So it'll have that calculated here shortly. And looks like that's all set up. And then index, make sure we don't have any VORs, nav aids inhibited that we haven't, which we do not have any, which is good. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through our quick before start flow. So I'll start down here on the side panel, get the lighting set up. I'll get a little bit of integral lighting because it's kind of dark. Let's get our V-speed set. We're going to be flaps 8, and we'll say that it's wet runway conditions with the downpours here. So our speeds are set at 127, 134, 143, 196, and then 153 in the bucket. That's all set. I'll check the radar altimeter really quickly, just make sure it's working, which it is. Great. And check our altimeter there, make sure that that setting is working to set it to standard. 3013 is still in the altimeters. And then I'll move up to the overhead panel. We'll just come down. Generators should all be in auto, which they are. And we'll assume, like I said, that it's not the first flight of the day. I'll turn the logo light and wing inspection on since we do have the rain out, kind of obscuring the view of a lot of people. Bleed valves are in auto. All of that's good. Fuel boost pump should be off right now. Cabin pressure, we need to get that set. So the landing elevation at Key West is going to be, I believe it's 10 feet. So we'll set this to 20, so that should work. That's set. And we're in auto mode. We'll turn our packs on now. We've had plenty of time. Get the recirc fans on. And we'll turn our windshield heat to low. Get the probe heat on. And standby compass, I'll turn that to dim for now, since it's a little bit dark out with the weather. Coming down here to the center pedestal, we have the anti-skid armed. I'll do a quick lamp test really quickly, just make sure all the lights are working, which they are. Good. We'll check the other. Actually, I haven't checked these yet. It's cool. And that is important. I think all the light bulbs are going to be working in the simulator. You don't have to do anything to check them really, so that's fun. We come down here and make sure the thrust reversers are armed. That's obviously pretty important. We'll get our TCAS set up really quickly. I do auto, relative, and normal. I'll do a quick test. We'll go ahead and set it up on the first officer's side also. So auto, relative, norm. And we hear that test was just fine. And then also, let's check our hydraulic really quickly, make sure those quantities are all in the green, which they are. And we'll check we've checked the stab trim, which is supposed to be at 7.2, which it is. Let's check the aileron trim really quickly. And the rudder trim. I can move the rudder trim on my honeycomb alpha yoke, so we'll go back and forth. Try this back to the other side, to the left here. There it goes. Alright. That's just a good check to make sure these things are working. And then aileron trim, I'll have to do that manually here. So I'll move that way. It's going to the right and then back to the left. Yes, it is moving. Alright, good. And then we got to make sure that we're in the green. So I think I got to move that to the right just a bit. There we go. So now we're all in the green. Centered yaw dampers need to come on. I'll make sure that they disconnect, which they do. Perfect. Yaw dampers are re-engaged. And then on the source selectors, these need to be, I'll put the standby radio tuning in and standby. And we can see attitude heading. Look at that. It's accidentally over in 2. And look, we're actually getting an annunciator on the PFD that says at 2. So those all need to be in normal. But it's cool that they do have that modeled in the Aerosoft CRJ. So now see that annunciator is gone on the PFD. So all these source selectors for the air data and attitude heading and all of that are in normal. And display fan, avionics fan in normal. Engage the mock trim. IRSs are in nav. And looks like we're pretty good. Let's do a quick departure briefing. We're due out of here in about 5 minutes. So for our departure briefing, stand by 1 second. Just need to get my release up here. We'll be ready to do that. We're on the right aircraft. This is Endeavour Flight 5787, service to Key West. And for our weights and fuel, we're planning 10,603 pounds of fuel. We have 10,625 on board, so we're good. Mid-fuel for takeoff will be 10,103. Weather here, for right now, Tango's current stormy. We'll have the continuous ignition on for takeoff. Winds are out of the west. 3013 on the altimeters is set. The weather down in Key West is being reported as, stand by, let me pull it up here. Winds 090 at 13, so easterly winds, 10 miles clear, 26 degrees Celsius, so a beautiful day down there. 3015 on the altimeters, and forecast to be that when we get down there. So likely, I'm going to shoot the RNAV to runway 9er there, just so we can look at RNAV approaches in this Aerosoft CRJ. For our NOTAMs, nothing that should affect us today. Taxi out route, let me pull up the Navagraph charts for us really quickly. So I'll pull up the Navagraph window. And you can see our overall route. We're going to be going just down the west coast of Florida once we get to the Gulf of Mexico and then down into Key West. So we're parked here at gate Bravo 34, which is right up here on the north side. So we'll be taxiing south to 2 south, ramp 2 south there. And then plan in runway 27 right. So likely it'll be a left turn onto Lima, or maybe they'll get us over to Mike, and then we'll be full length at Lima Alpha 27 right. 12,390 feet available, plenty of runway. Abort criteria below 80 knots. We'll abort for a variety of reasons. Above 80 knots only for an engine fire, severe engine damage, or the inability of the aircraft to get or stay airborne. We'll call that CRJ standard. Alright, so I'll let me close that window for a second. And for our takeoff speeds, we're planning flaps 8, wet runway 127, 134, 143, 196, and 153 in the bucket is set. And like I said, flaps will be at 8. Trims is set at 7.2 in the stab trim. We'll plan speed mode, nav mode, since it's an RNAV, departure off the ground to our first fix of slaw. And let's brief that up really quickly. I'll pull up our bang 2 departure. And on the bang 2 departure, off of runway 27 right, first, let's see here, first, get my plate over here. Bang 2 departure, 27 right, initial heading. We need to get that set in, and it's going to be 275. So get the heading bug set to 275. It's going to take just a second. I'm going to hold down the shift key, and that really does help. Hold down that shift key and you can move the heading bug really quickly in this. So there's 275, and then to 1527, then direct to slaw. And then on a course to, then on depicted route to bang, maintain 250 knots to rivet. So let's take a look at this really quickly. We have slaw, rigs, rivet to 250 knots till we get there. Then it is bang, luck. And then on our filed route, let me take down the Navagraph chart there so you can see a little bit better now. So our filed route after that is Ballsy, and then it's Q81, which will have us going Snappy, Nicky, Bitney, Endu, Magnety, Farloo, Lehigh, Thumper, Fipes, Carter, GG, and Key West, and the airport there. Total distance 600, planning a distance of 611. That all looks good. Transition altitude is going to be flight level 180, and the departure frequency is 125.7 out of Atlanta here today. Engine failure procedure will climb up to flat protraction of 2,000. 20 feet, and then we'll climb to 3,000 back around to the airport, work out the problem, likely land here at Atlanta. That's all I have. Let me go ahead and pull up our, I think we'll be on Atlanta Tower initially, which is 119.1. Let me get that tuned into our COM1 radio. 119.10 is standing by. I'm going to make it active. There we go. We should be able to hear it. And then in COM2, I'm going to get 121.5 standing by. Which we're almost there. I'm just going to keep rolling this knob down. We'll get it there. Alright, 121.5. So we'll have that standing by so we can hear if anybody's having issues on the guard frequency. Okay, let's go ahead and run the before start check. We're right at our pushback time, so perfect, right on time here. Before start check, exterior inspection is complete. Pressurization set. Passenger signs, or anti-ice is set. Hydraulic set. Passenger signs on. Altimeters 3013 cross-checked. IRS, nav, anti-skid armed. Thrust reversers armed. Parking brake is set. Yaw dampers engaged. Oxygen checked. 100% departure briefing complete. Before start check complete. Let's go ahead and get the external power disconnected here. And we'll go ahead and get the jet bridge pulled back since we're pretty close to push. And the aircraft door, we'll get that closed. Whoops, here in just a second. So pull the
Royal Jordanian 264, turn right heading 250.
Florida. Our flight time will be roughly.
Alright, and engine start flow.
Looks like the ones that turned direct to Miami. My apologies.
Your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten.
That 8391 RNAV to MPass, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Alright, engine start check. FMS ACAR is set. Fuel quantity is 10,600 planned, 10,590 on board, and ballast. Beacon is on. Nozzle steering off. Fuel pumps on. Doors, let's check that those are closed, which they are. Transponder on, flight deck door is closed and
264,
locked.
maintain 10,000, contact departure 25-7.
Engine start check is complete. And let me turn this off, just so we don't accidentally trigger a state.
Tower,
Alright,
Southwest 325.
make sure we're clear behind
visual
us, and then I'll call
26
for our pushback.
SkyWest 325, Atlanta Tower, hello. Wind 190 at 4, runway 26 right, cleared to land.
Flight deck to ground, we will be ready shortly. Flight deck to ground, we are ready for pushback. I think this is supposed to work. Hoping it will. I'm trying to use the Pushback Express, but sometimes these things don't work as advertised. I used it earlier today and it worked just fine. Let me try this again. Let's see. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Audio test complete.
Well, maybe we won't be able to use that. That's okay. I'll just use the standard pushback because we gotta get going here. It's quite a ways. Let's see, that's all done. Time remaining 6 minutes. I think that was the problem. It was trying to say that we had. It was doing an auto countdown. 50 seconds. 46 seconds. Okay. It's doing a pre-pushback type thing. While it's doing that, I'm actually going to get the air set here in my house. It's getting a little warm here. We've had some crazy weather where I live.
Just verifying the turn to MPass there.
They actually had tornadoes in Atlanta last night, so you can see the weather still has not improved dramatically in Atlanta. Still stormy there tonight, it appears.
You said you're turning? Yeah, good.
Alright, so hopefully this will work. I'm going to let this run down and see if we can't get the
8391, thank you. Contact departure.
Pushback Express to work, because it is nice when it works, because you get the full discussion with the crew. Alright, so 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to give this a shot. Here we go. Flight deck to ground. Hopefully this will work. Come on. I'm not going to try this too much longer. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes,
Well, there
please.
we go. See? Now it's working. Brakes released. I guess they'll pull up here. Let's see. Parking brakes released.
Scout 325, cross runway 26 left at Charlie, join Echo.
Cross 26 left at Charlie and join Echo, Scout 325.
So I guess they're going to start pushing us back here. Okay. We are ready for pushback and engine start. It's like it's died on me. Let me try this again. We are ready for pushback and engine start. Well, okay. I'm not going to keep fooling around with this because, okay. Alright, I'm just going to close Pushback Express and we are going to use just the standard thing here. So here we go. Brakes are released, we're clear for push, and we're pushing back. Here comes the tug. Well, I tried that out, and Pushback Express did work for me earlier this evening, so I don't know what happened to it just now, but whatever. We'll try it again in another stream. I'll mess around with it some more. Just don't know why it died. All right. Let me go back to the legs page here. All right, so after we push, like I said, we're going to be going to the south, which is going to be to the right. All right, clear to push. Mains on the lines, and we probably need to remove our chocks. I can see the that might have been why the Pushback Express wasn't working.
South 325,
Yep.
turn right on Golf. You're the wrong way there, friend.
Alright, we're turning right on Golf here.
And parking brake is still on. There it goes.
Yes, sir. Turn right on Golf, cut through the
Doesn't always work on
the
my
de-icing
Honeycomb
pad
Bravo.
there, make a right turn on Delta, and then left on Foxtrot's parking.
Alright, let me turn this off
Roger
again.
that. We'll cut,
Alright,
cut through
so
here
we're
and
clear to
then,
start.
follow
Start
it around
in
to
2,
parking
then
Scout
1.
25.
Hello, welcome aboard, and thanks for flying with Delta. Every time we take off, we try to make the world a little smaller.
Alright, N2.
First priority on every flight is the safety of our customers and crew.
Oil pressure.
Please give us your attention as we show you one of the
Smell and rotation. ITT is good. It's below 120C. I'm just waiting on 20% N2.
Be sure that all carry-on
Which,
items
there it
are
is.
stowed in an overhead bin, and place smaller items, including handbags, under the seat in front of you.
Fuel flow.
If you lose your electronic device in your seat,
Gotta keep an eye on our pushback here.
and ask a crew member.
And light up.
Please ensure all aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas are cleared.
Yep, we need to stop our pushback right here. There we go.
To fasten, insert the metal
Alright, we'll set the parking brake.
adjust the strap so it's low and tight across
Now the switch works. Okay, cool. So that's probably why Pushback Express wasn't working. It was something with my Honeycomb Bravo parking brake and all that other stuff. Alright, we'll go ahead and start number 1 as soon as engine 2 is stabilized, which it is. So starting 1.
placards and lighted information signs located
Hold the start button down for 2 seconds. There it goes. And start our timer over here in case we have any engine malfunctions.
allowed on any Delta flight, and federal law prohibits
Alright, there's N2.
disabling or destroying a restroom smoking.
Oil pressure.
Flight rafts are located
ITT is below 120. And there's our 20% N2. So hit the red tab, move the thrust lever up to idle.
all exits are clearly marked.
Fuel flow.
However, if there's a loss of power and cabin visibility is reduced,
And we're just waiting on light up.
the guide you to an exit. Please take a moment to find the exits closest to you, and remember, they might be
And light up. Perfect.
likely, but if cabin pressure changes, the panels above your seat will open, revealing oxygen masks.
We'll just keep an eye on it.
Reach up and pull the mask toward you until the tube is fully extended. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Slip the elastic strap over your
Wow, visibility has really gone down just in these rain showers. So
is flowing, so don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate. Be sure to adjust your own mask
Ready as soon as it stabilizes. There we go. Let's go. Watch your knees. Do flight control check. Full down, full aft, full right, full left. Let's check the rudders really quickly. Make sure that they're looking good. It's full right, full left rudder. That's good. Trims are all in the green. Flaps 8. And after start. Let's turn off the APU now. It's all good. I'll go ahead and arm the nose and steering.
Atlanta Tower is closed.
Well, Atlanta Tower is now closed. Glad he told us. Alright, so flaps 8 after start check. Let's run through that really quickly. It's going to be generators are set to auto, bleeds auto, packs on, cargo air, conditioned air. Forgot to do that part of the flow. There we go. Anti-ice is set, fuel pumps on, flight controls checked, rudder checked, nozzle steering is armed. After start check complete, performance check, FMS, runway 27 right, slaw. And I'm going to check that on my EFB. I have actually here, you just make sure you see that first fix is slaw 27 right, it says in the FMS. So 27 right, slaw is verified. Thrust is full 88.7, full 88.7 verified. Trims 7.2 and centered. 7.2 centered. Flaps 8 planned, 8 indicating. And speeds, this is our last check before we get moving. Here with our performance on the EFB. So speeds are 127, 134, 143, 196, 153 in the bucket set. And once again, flaps are at 8. Performance check is complete. Alright, so here we go. We'll take it to the right. Let me check on our Atlanta center frequency, make sure that they're still on, which looks like they are off too. So we're going to be on Common Traffic Advisory or 122.8. So that's in. Here we go. Parking brakes off. Cabin is ready for departure. I'll turn on our nose landing light and our recog taxi, and we'll get rolling. This is my first full flight with the new Honeycomb Bravo thrust lever quadrant, and we'll get going. Atlanta traffic, Endeavor 5787, CRJ 700, taxiing from Bravo 34 to 2 south, runway 27 right for departure. Atlanta. Conbuoy. Before today's updates, I couldn't get my CRJ electronics to turn on and the control surfaces were out of whack. Today I was able to do a flight and landed in San Diego from Burbank in VR. Very cool, Con. So how did you like the VR in the CRJ? I have not gotten to do a full flight in VR in the CRJ yet. That sounds like a lot of fun. I know Burbank and San Diego are absolutely beautiful and scenic places. So that sounds really cool. I'm gonna get some get our wiper on really quickly. Check that out.
Atlanta traffic, Delta 1147 is starting pushback gate Alpha 9er.
Alright, so we have a Delta pushing back at Alpha 9er. There's a, wow, that's a big bird. Maybe an A380 taking off there, off 27 right. So one thing I've noticed with the CRJ 700, now we are a little heavy, but you really have to use quite a bit of thrust to get this thing going. And then I feel like you're either going really fast on taxi or you're barely moving. There's not really a good in between. So like now I'm already, you know, accelerating pretty rapidly. I don't really want to go above 15 knots on the ground speed here in the ramp area. But we certainly do have the rain really coming down now. Alright, so when we get to 2 south, I'm gonna just make a left turn onto Lima. And I think we'll take Lima, Juliet, Mike to Lima Alpha at the end of 27 right. So if you have your Atlanta airport diagram handy, you can check that out at home too.
Atlanta traffic, Delta 1446 is starting pushback from gate Alpha 7.
Now traffic Endeavor 5787 at 2 south, taxiing Lima 4, Lima, Juliet, Mike to 27 right, Atlanta. Okay, so we're clear right, clear left, left turn on to Lima. Let me slow our roll just a little bit here. So there we go, left on to Lima. And I'm looking forward to that nice weather we're going to have down in Key West later this evening. Okay, looks like we have an aircraft headed straight at us. So I might need to turn to the right. And Atlanta traffic, Endeavor 5787. We're going to go ahead and transition south, Lima 5 to Mike to get out of the way of the oncoming traffic, Atlanta, on Lima. Okay, so here's Lima 5. I'm just going to go ahead and turn us right onto Lima 5. We're clear right. Let's try to get out of that aircraft's way. It's kind of crazy being in Atlanta and having it uncontrolled, so so it's true free-for-all. So there we go. So we'll just take it on Mike from here all the way down. Alright, so while we're doing this, we'll go ahead and do our takeoff briefing. So it's going to be full rated thrust, rolling bleeds on the engines, flaps are set at 8, and once again, this is another chance to check your speeds and flap settings and trim. So those are some important things that have caused accidents in the past. So flaps are set at 8 degrees. Always check actually by looking and pointing at that. Trim's at 7.2, which it is. And speeds are 127, 134, 143, 196, and 153 in the bucket set. Flying off a runway 27 right to Slaw, up to 10,000 feet initially, 250 knots until rivet. I'll have the continuous ignition on. I'll go ahead and turn that on now. Standard CRJ board. If there aren't any questions, let's do before takeoff check to the line. So autocross flow override comes on, and before takeoff check to the line. If you're wondering about this checklist, any of you that are new to my streams, I do have the checklist I'm using along with the flows all linked in the CRJ training playlist that's on the VREF Simmer channel. So please check those out. They're free for you to use. Just something I've compiled from real world experience in the CRJ and modified it for use in the sim. So I hope that you find those things useful and enjoyable. But you can see with these real world procedures, you spend quite a bit of time making sure that the aircraft is configured, double checking, triple checking, and that's what we do in real life to make sure that no one gets hurt and the flight is operated safely. Alright, so before takeoff check to the line, takeoff briefing is complete, cross-flow auto override is manual, ignition's on, nav instruments are checked, they're both auto tuning, and we're in white needles, good. Fuel quantity 10,103 min fuel, 10,300 onboard and balance. ICAS is checked and I need to box it up. Checked and cleared. Brake temperatures are checked and cabin ready before takeoff check to the line is complete. And it's a long taxi down here to the end of 27 right, so I'll just keep us trucking along here. And we are certainly getting some gnarly weather. I'm going to turn on the radar even though it does not work in the Aerosoft CRJ, unfortunately. But typically we'd be able to paint the weather here on the MFD. Hopefully that'll be updated in an upcoming patch. But for now,
Atlanta traffic Delta 2586, we're about 15 to the east, inbound visual 27 left, Atlanta.
Alright, so we have someone coming in on 27 left. Maybe we'll be out of their way. I see someone coming in for the north side runways there. 26 26 left probably, maybe 26 right. Alright, so here we are. I'm going to pull our thrust back to idle. There's somebody coming in on one of the 27s. And we'll just have to be extra careful here because it's a busy airport. Visibility is kind of so-so. But I don't believe anybody's coming into 27 right, so we can go past the ILS hold short lines here. Land traffic, Endeavour 5787, taking off runway 27 right via the Bang 2 departure, Atlanta. Alright, here we go.
Landing traffic Delta 2586 for 10 mile final, 27 left and line.
Alright, so they're on the left side, we're taking off the right side. Get the strobes on, there we go. And before takeoff, check below the line. Takeoff configuration is checked. NTI standard N1 checked, external lights set. Before takeoff check complete. 27 right is on the sign. And 27 right's verified. We'll hit the toga button. And we have Toto. Here we go. I'm going to put the wipers on to slow. I have controls. Let's take off. And set thrust. Thrust set. 80 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. And typically when you raise the raise the gear, turn the wipers off. That way you want it. Speed mode, nav mode, autopilot on, FMS 1.
Landing traffic Delta 2586, 5 mile final, 27 left and line.
And we'll accelerate now. We're at our flap retraction, accelerate to 250. Yeah, frame rates have gotten pretty bad right here. So flaps 1. Flaps up. And after takeoff check. Alright, there's 250.
That's traffic Delta 1446, taxi runway 27 right.
I'll leave the continuous ignition on for the thunderstorms in the area. Precip, we'll go back to climb thrust now. So I'll pull the thrust levers back just a bit. There's our climb detent. Thrust reversers come off.
Traffic Delta 2586, short mile,
and after takeoff check, gear is up, flaps up, 0, crossflow auto override, auto. Thrust climb, thrust reversers off to ICAS. Let's check that really quickly.
Tata traffic Delta 1147, taxi to runway.
Yeah, it's good.
27 right.
After takeoff check complete. And hopefully we'll get out of this weather pretty quickly. Already at 6,700 feet. We just have to make sure that we do not exceed 250 knots before we get to rivet there. So, whoa, there was a lightning strike really close to the aircraft. A little too close for comfort there. I don't know if y'all can see that flash on your screens. Let's get a quick view outside the aircraft. You can see it's we're definitely still in the clouds, coming out on top now. Very cool. Outs cap, and we need to maintain 250 knots, so I'm going to pull our thrust back. And this is a little gotcha here. And we're getting some pretty good turbulence. I'm going to pull our range in a little bit so we can see just a little bit better. where we are. And we'll stay at 10,000 for a bit. I think they typically keep you at 10,000 just because there could be some arrivals coming in. Once we get past Rivet, we'll climb up to our cruising altitude of 370. Evan Moore, hey, welcome to the stream, Evan. Haven't flown since the update this morning. I hope they didn't break anything.
And line of traffic Delta 2586.
Outs cap again. Evan, good news is I don't think they broke anything. My frame rate seemed to be a little better earlier, but it got worse as soon as I started to take off out of Atlanta. So I don't know. I might play around with my graphics settings a little later. But they don't appear to have broken anything yet, Evan. So good news in that front. I will say before the patch, even when I adjusted my graphics settings, I still had horrible frame rates at any large airport. So we're just going to be continuing here 10,000 until we get to Rivet. Yeah, we're just getting rocked around in the clouds.
Traffic Delta 2586 across runway 278 Tango, domestic south, Atlanta.
It's too bad we can't paint the precip yet. The Aerosoft CRJ. I look forward to having an operating radar in flight sim. That'll be really cool. Let's see, we have somebody that's somewhat nearby us climbing out over here near Rivet. And they are
2586, clear 27 right, good night.
It's like 2,000 feet above us and climbing right now. So must have gone off the north side, I'm guessing. I'll bet you if I go ahead and climb this up, our frame rates will get better instead of flying through the clouds like this. So maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and set in flight level 370, and we can head up there, because our frame rates are pretty bad at this moment. So I'm just gonna roll it up a bit. Let's do speed mode. Hold it down. Hopefully we can get these frame rates going a little better here. There we go, speed mode. We'll set the climb detent, because this is not working at the moment. There's climb detent. It rolls up to 250 knots, and hopefully we'll get better frame rates here as we climb out. I've really only noticed bad frame rates.
27 right.
Whoa. When around a Class Bravo airport. And it's only after a certain amount of time, so. Alright. Well, there we go. Hopefully as we get out of here, our frame rates will improve again. Let's keep rolling our altitude knob up to level 370.
Traffic Delta Aileron 47, line up and wait, runway 27 right behind the company.
Wow. Yeah, the frame rate's really deteriorated on the takeoff roll for me for whatever reason, and now we're just clunking along. So I hope it fixes itself. Might be going back to X-plane for the next stream if this keeps up until I get it worked out. Because I have X-plane working pretty well now. And Flight Sim was working well for me before the World Update 3. That's when things really slowed down. So I'm not sure what they changed, but performance definitely went downhill for me on my computer. Alright, there's flight level 370 set. I'm just going to leave it alone, let this aircraft climb on up. But it certainly looks pretty outside the cockpit. So, Convoy, I'm just curious, which VR headset did you use when you were flying in the CRJ today? Which VR headset did you use? I have enjoyed VR so far in Flight Sim. I don't know if it'll work too well at this point, but Gamer Bros, yeah, I was scared to update too. Yeah, I know I was scared to do it, but I mean I guess it's kind of like there isn't much of a don't have much of a choice at this point. Anshtakar, hi, hey, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you aboard. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying hi. I appreciate it. Certainly hoping that we have a fun flight down to Key West. Look forward to doing a full RNAV procedure into runway 9 down there. Hopefully the performance will stabilize out as we head south. I mean, it certainly looks beautiful outside. It's just the processing's having some trouble. Alright, so now all we're doing is just waiting on the flight level 180. We'll turn off the continuous ignition now that we're above all of the weather. We're not experiencing any moderate or heavier turbulence intensity up here. It's relatively smooth. So there it goes. And I'll give the flight attendant the bells since we're above 10,000 feet now. And honestly, I might have to shut down PackX just to try to help the computer have a little more power. Yeah, you love to join stream. Great. Glad you're here. Glad you're here, Vanch. And you're downloading Microsoft Flight Simulator on your laptop. You hope it works. Just 60 gigabytes left. Yeah, so you're on your way. I'll tell you, it is a wonderful simulator. The only thing is it's changing every couple of weeks. They are gradually improving it, but right now it's a little difficult to get the performance tweaked in just right. So oh wow, Evan Moore, you backed up everything before updating. You had to reinstall the entire game. Oh no, before the previous update. Yeah, that is a massive game too, Evan. I'm sorry you had to do that. Wow. Yeah, I also had to reinstall the game a couple weeks ago, and it took me 3 days to do it because it kept getting held up on. It was held up on unpacking a certain file, and then I found out that if you find that file and you delete it, and then restart the installer, it somehow got through that. So, but it took me 3 days to figure that out. Bench, am I playing on a laptop or PC? I'm playing on a PC, and like I said, it was running everything really well before really the update prior to this one. So, all right, so we're through flight level 180 now, our transition altitude. So we hit the center of this baro knob. The goal of our altimeter set to 29902, and they are set across the board 29902, and we'll turn off our landing lights, wing inspection, logo lights. So altimeter is 29902. They are cross-checked. External light set. Climb check is complete. And we're underway. Very cool. Evan Moore, it took you 5 days to get it redone. Yeah, I do not doubt that. I do not doubt that one bit. It is just... I remember back when it was a big deal to have a program that was 150 megabytes, let alone 150 gigabytes now. So, Vance, yeah, your laptop is on for 2 days straight and also night. Yep, it takes a while. It takes a while. So it looks like, hopefully I didn't lose you all on the stream here. But, God, it was such a small patch, Evan. Yeah. It was small in the grand scheme of things. And we're just chugging along here. I am hopeful that this stream will continue. Looks like it's hanging up just a little bit. I'm going to move our range out now. It's usually pretty good. It's good technique to at least keep the next fix in view at the end of the range there. So we're showing. That's good. Yeah, and the performance, it really has not rebounded too well. All right, I need to check in on the on my everybody watching on Twitch. Apologize, I can't, for whatever reason, it does not show on my chat window when people are watching on Twitch. So thank you all for joining in. Let me tune in over there. I'm going to use my cell phone to tune in on the Twitch side so I can follow the chat. Glad you all are joining in. Making our way down to Key West. And I am having some internet issues for some reason on my end tonight. Actually had my internet provider out here to look at some things. They replaced a few components, said everything looked like it should work, but looks like I'm going to have them come back out here. So I do apologize for that. Do not know what is causing it. Certainly pay to have working internet, so it is a little frustrating when it doesn't work. So I do apologize for that. Alright, I'm going to increase our climb speed now to 290 knots. That's what we're planning. 290 knots to 0.74 Mach. And see if we can't get us going a little faster down toward Key West. This is just we'll see if the computer will, if this computer will make it all the way to Key West, honestly. The way the frame rates keep going downhill. Not really sure what's causing that. Looks like the internet's back for right now. And I'll try to restart this. Restart the stream. I apologize for. I'm not sure if you all are able to watch or not, but I'll try to restart it if it doesn't get to improving here shortly, because. Looks like it's trying to keep streaming here. Yeah, I'm not sure why my internet is having so much trouble. Alright, there we are at Luck, so we'll continue, or at Bang, so now we're continuing down to Luck. And now we are locking up completely. So I don't know if the simulator is going to completely crash or what's going to happen here. We'll just have to wait and see. Might not be able to, like I said, I didn't know if the computer was going to hold on. But we'll wait and see here. Yeah, it's looking like it's completely locked up now. I'm going to try to close down PackX, see if that'll help. I'm not sure it's going to let me. Certainly hope we're going to be able to continue this flight. But it looks like this might be broken. Alright, we're back. Good. I'm going to close all unnecessary windows to try to help. I'm going to shut down PackX also. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, it says we lost our connection to the internet. Well, good thing we have an autopilot, because otherwise we would not be able to continue this at all. It looks like simulators frame rates have gone up dramatically. So I'm not sure what it is about being near Class Bravo airspace, but that seems to really mess things up for some reason. Try this again here. Looks like my internet is just completely out at this moment. There's a beautiful view from the outside. Well, I'm going to try to restart my internet. And hopefully this will do the trick. So I just unplugged all of my internet, my router, my modem, everything, reset it. So hopefully that'll get the internet back up and working. So we've been switched to offline mode. Alright, so I always switch to 0.74 Mach in our climb, which is nice. That's what we were planning to do. And let me move our range out just a bit. Looks like we'll reach our top altitude of flight level 370 at Lucky. Alright, Luck. There, we can see the magenta banana bar there at Luck. So good. And hopefully the internet will come back here shortly. Alright, looks like the internet's back. Alright, I'm going to try to get this live streaming again. Let's try this one more time here. Try to bring this to you all. Hopefully it'll work. All right. We're back. Frame rates are looking good now. Like as soon as we got out of the Class Bravo airspace for Atlanta, things got much better. So it's actually at a workable frame rate now, and 36 for 37. Alts cap. So we're at our cruising altitude, and looking at, let's see, cruising Mach is going to be 0.78. So I'll set that in our speed window here to maintain 0.78. At the top of climb, we're showing a total fuel quantity of 8,515 pounds, and we were planned to have, let's see here, 7,648. So we're quite a ways ahead, almost 900 pounds ahead of schedule with our total fuel. So that's good. Plenty of fuel on board for our flight down to Key West today. So yeah, I mean, I think there's something going on, in particular at the large airports. It's causing the sim to really slow down. So I'm gonna turn off the fasten seatbelt sign. Let people up. You check on our PACX. Passenger satisfaction. Everybody's doing pretty well. Alright, so there's luck. Zoom us out. So Woolsey's next. And it looks like we're coming up at, like I said, this CRJ 700 with 8C5B1 engines, that will definitely go into overspeed range if you just leave the thrust levers at the climb beats at. It has no problem overspeeding. Which is a cool thing. So I'll pull the thrust back just a bit. And you can see we did go to half bank. That happens at 31,600 feet. That's when the half bank automatically comes on at high altitude. So neat to see that they simulated that in the Aerosoft CRJ. Looks like the clouds are starting to break up out there. Very neat. I'm going to look ahead and see if we can expect to have any air traffic control coverage as we head south toward Key West. Just have to see really quickly. Pull it up on my iPhone here. Go to vatsim.net. Hey, Captain Shaquille Oatmeal, welcome to the stream. Help new here. I'm glad you're here, man. I've always enjoyed watching your streams in X-Plane 11, so yeah, welcome aboard. Yeah, so yeah, if you have any questions about the CRJ, I will certainly try to answer them. But yeah, welcome, man. Hello, new here. Yep. Yeah, that's a little different message, right? Hello or help. So cool, man. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Shaquille Oatmeal. Glad to have you here. Yeah, we're just cruising along at this point down toward Key West. Just got the new update, the patch for Flight Sim 2020, and performance was better, but then it went downhill on the departure. So I don't know if you have Flight Sim 2020 yet, but I think they're trying to get things fixed. I think I'm going to try to do a driver update, see if that'll maybe fix it, but glad you're on board. But yeah, if any of y'all have any questions about the CRJ, I'll try to answer them. Like I said, I'm type rated in the CRJ. It's been a few years since I've actually flown it, but definitely quite a few thousand hours in the plane, and I can say it's a wonderful plane. Excited to see it here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Let's take a quick look outside the aircraft, especially now that the clouds are breaking up, and see just stunning views down below with the clouds, and heading into South Georgia now. Let's see, pull up my air Navagraph. We are currently over the Pecan VOR. Shaquille Oatmeal, I will gladly pick your brain on the CRJ. Do you fly it in real life? Shaquille Oatmeal, yes. To be accurate, I did fly it in real life. I do not currently fly it, but yes, I am type rated in the CRJ. I've flown the 200, 700, and 900. So never got to fly the 550, which that one looks like it'd be a lot of fun to fly because they took some seats out. So I imagine the 700 would get up and go with the extra seats in it. So I can't even imagine how much of a rocket the 550 is. But fun aircraft to fly. Definitely, CRJ 700 is probably my favorite aircraft I've ever flown so far. So it's just fun because you get to I don't know, you actually get to fly it a little bit more than some of the more advanced planes. Bench, yes, I started a new stream, so I'm not sure if y'all could hear me, but my internet, in addition to the computer problem, my internet started going out, so I'm going to have to call the internet company back out. They had some technicians out here last week, thought they'd fix my internet problems, but apparently not, so I unplugged everything, all the modem. I unplugged the modem and the router and plugged it all back, powered it back up, and it seems to be working again. So, Captain Shaquille Oatmeal, what do I fly now? I actually am not flying anything currently, commercially. So, just the Cessna 172 down at the local airport. So, yep. Flying mostly virtually these days. And yeah, the airline I used to fly for actually went under, so with the COVID shutdowns. But yep. But this is I will say Aerosoft has done a good job, especially with their initial release in the CRJ. And so Shaquille Oatmeal, I actually saw you on Vatsim at St. Louis a few weeks back. So I didn't realize it was you at the time, but you were talking to the controller, because I think the controller had just finished their check ride on the 767. So I happened to tune into your stream, and I was like, I recognize that radio transmission, because I had heard it when I was landing, and sure enough. So I hope you got in touch with that guy. Sounds pretty cool, like has some actual real world experience on the 767. And I'd be curious to know if he thought if the flight factor 767 on X-Plane 11 is pretty realistic or not. Yeah, South Georgia out there. Said the Pecan VOR down in Albany, Georgia. Alright, Vanch, I want to become a pilot and fly most of airplanes possible, but your dream is to fly the 747 Dreamlifter. Well, stick with it. You just might get to do it. Absolutely. It's a fun career path. Definitely, there are a lot of things out of your control, but just do the best you can with the things that are under your control and enjoy the ride. And the nice thing is, we have such great simulators now. You can at least get started learning a little bit about aviation at home before you start spending the big bucks on training and other things. So. Alright, so I'll check our fuel when we get to Ballsy up here. Make sure that we're right on track. We should have, let's see here, check my sim brief really quickly. At Ballsy, I'm showing us planned with 7,166 pounds of fuel, and right now we're at 78.55, so I think we'll be likely above that when we get there. Shaquille O'Neal flying the old desktop monitor as well, and yes, I did talk to him. I still do. Great guy. Flies the 767. Such a small world. Very cool. Yeah, that was neat to hear y'all talking back and forth. It definitely caught my attention because the Flight Factor 7576 is a plane I'm in the process of learning right now. So. Very cool to hear that feedback from him. Vance, you're very welcome. Yep, stick with it, study hard. That's the one thing about aviation. It's definitely important to take your studies seriously with an airplane, because a lot of times, I mean, it's life and death. You have people's lives in your hands, so definitely take your studying seriously when it comes to real world aviation. And have fun along the way. Alright, so I guess we'll be getting to the Gulf of Mexico here pretty soon, just off the west coast of Florida. think we actually have the Gulf Coast in view now. So, yep, I see it out there. I'm not sure if you all can see on your screens, but we'll be out over the Gulf in no time at all. Yeah, that's right, Shaquille O'Neal. We made it through 9/11 and the 2008 financial issues. We'll get past this too, absolutely. And I've actually heard a lot of the airlines that didn't go under, they're starting to recall their pilots. And I think there was a pilot shortage before we had the big downturn, and there likely will be in the future. But I'm really thinking Flight Sim 2020 has helped inspire the younger generation. Hopefully a lot of new pilots will be coming through the ranks. Captain Matt, hey, how are you? I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking, Captain. How about you this evening? Hope you are doing well, or whatever time of day it is where you are. I certainly hope that you are doing well. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. And Shaquille O'Neal, I also talked to a Delta pilot who just moved off the 7576. He said the flight factor is a very good plane. Hey, that's great to hear. It seems to be a consistent review from the real world pilots on that plane. So, yeah, definitely. I need to just finish studying that plane. Swipam, are you feeling cold? I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling good. I'm comfortable. Let's see, outside the airplane though, look at that. Static air temperature, -52 Celsius. So it's definitely cold outside the plane. Let's take a look at this is a good chance. Let's see virtually what the temperature is in our cabin. So we'll go to the ECS page down here. And we can see that the cabin is at 23 degrees Celsius, cockpit's 21°C. So if we did want to bump the temperature up, we'd just come up here to the air conditioning panel, and you can see you can just turn the auto knob. We'll warm it up a little bit in the cockpit. Let's see what happens here. You can see the duct temperature going up now, 26°C, and the actual temperature is rising. So we selected 27°C. That's a little warm. Let's get it about 25. There we go. We'll leave it right there. Alright, Vance, you are also inspired by Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Yes, that's great. That's great to hear. I'm glad that the flight simulators are starting to get popular again. I was definitely inspired by the flight simulators as a child. Got me into the aviation industry, so I think it's an important thing to advance aviation in the world. Captain Matt, I'm glad you're doing fine. Captain Shaquille O'Neal, Captain Chemtrails on Instagram and YouTube. Okay, I'll check out Captain Chemtrails. I like the name, by the way. That's great. Captain Matt, 9:40 p.m. Pacific time here. So you're on the, I guess, toward the West Coast then. So great. Great. Yeah, I'm in Central time, so it's getting pretty close to midnight where I'm flying from. And it's 10 a.m. Vanch, where you are in Indian Standard. Very, very neat. Well, good morning to you. Good morning. 12:41 in Charlotte. So that's a really cool thing. That's a really cool thing how global the flight simulation community is. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to all of you all over the world. Glad you're aboard. Captain Matt, do I have any questions for you? Yes, I do have a question for you. what is your favorite aircraft to fly so far in any flight simulator that you have? And yeah, please tell me which flight simulator that is. What is your favorite virtual aircraft you've flown so far in flight simulation? I think that's a pretty good question. Maybe a loaded question, but okay. So I forgot to check the fuel right away when we were at Bolsey. So we're at 7480. I think I said we were planning 7166, so we're ahead of schedule. So good. Subham, yep, thanks to social media, that's right. Yep. It's cool how yep, world's becoming a small place, that's for sure. And Evan Moore, almost 2 p.m. here in Japan. So see, yep, good afternoon to you, Evan. Wow. Hey, Captain Matt, I have a question for you. What is the most terrifying moment in aviation industry, and what do you think, VRF Simmer? I'll let Captain Matt answer that question first, and then I'll chime in. So, Captain Matt, your favorite plane is to fly in infinite flight is the Boeing 777-200ER. Okay, very cool. I actually have not tried infinite flight yet, but if you all recommend it, I think that's the one that's on. I believe it's on the iPhone, right? Infinite Flight. I have heard of it. Get a quick view outside. This beautiful 700. Looks like it used to fly for Comair way back in the day, maybe. That Charlie Alpha tail number. But now, obviously, Endeavor. Actually worked on the ramp in Atlanta for a year, and when Comair was winding down. So maybe I saw this exact plane, who knows. Trying to see if you can see any waves down there. I don't think they would model them from this high up. Vanch, according to you, the most terrifying moment in the aviation industry was 9/11. Yes, that was a real shocker. Let's say I started my flight training after 9/11, so I wasn't actually in the industry when it happened. But I heard from some of my coworkers that some of them had classes lined up at the airlines and other things, and were basically told, we have no idea when you're going to get to start your job. But they stuck with it, and you know, most of them are at the major airlines or at UPS or FedEx now. The guys that wanted to continue along that path. So, yep. Captain Matt, speaking to Vanish's question, to me it is UIA that got shot over Iran. VREF Simmer is awesome. The UIA that got shot over Iran. I'd have to review that incident. And thanks for the kind words, Captain Matt. And I'm trying to think what I would think the most terrifying incident in aviation, the aviation industry, has been so far. I mean, I would have to agree with you that 9/11 was pretty terrifying. Vanch, sorry about that. Please correct me, yes, if I'm not saying it correctly. Vanch, maybe that's, but I would have to agree with you. 9/11 was a pretty terrifying moment, just because how often do you see all of the aircraft in airspace as large as the United States grounded all at once? I remember looking up in the sky on 9/11 and not seeing any aircraft flying over where I lived at the time in Tennessee. And usually you'd see jets going into Nashville, but didn't see anything. So, Blue Aviation, hello. Hello, welcome aboard. Glad you're aboard. You can see we have some blue skies right now, just a really high cirrus layer up above us. Cirrus stratus, maybe. We're pretty close to it. I can't really tell what they are, but we're flying along the west coast of Florida, down the Gulf toward Key West. Glad you were able to join in today, Blue Aviation. Vanch, oh, it's okay, as Indian while talking to foreigners. Yes. Alright, I just received... And for all of you, if my internet goes out again, I do have this video recording, so if the stream cuts out, be sure to check back on the channel later. I'll try to put bookmarks so you can go to the RNAV approach portion, or you can watch the full flight if you'd like, but I'll keep trying to restream as long as I can. If the stream goes out, I'll try to start it back up again also. Evan Moore said, oh no. Yeah, looks like the stream's going down again. Yep, it did. It did. The stream went down again. I apologize, guys. Do not know what's going on with my internet tonight. Yeah, see, last words here, Evan Moore. Oh no. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll certainly enjoying the discussion with all of you. Alright, let me try this again. I just want to see if it will continue the stream for you all. I hope it will. Let's go to, I'm trying to pull it up on my VREF Summer channel. Oh goodness, we're up in cruise flight, and like I said, my computer is recording the entire flight, so I should still be able to post the full flight for us after the fact, so you all can join along. All right, I'll try this again. I don't think it. Yep, I'm gonna have to redo it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Here we go. In stream, go live, and just select the there we go. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. Alright. The stream is back. Live again. I do apologize for this. I do not know what's going on. We did have some really bad weather here last night, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but maybe something was damaged. That's cool, looking at all the islands there. The Florida coast. Let's see where we are exactly. Hey, Captain Shaquille O'Neal, glad you're back. Yeah, I'm just, if the stream cuts out, I'm gonna just keep trying to restart it live, and like I said, my hard drive is storing the video in its entirety, so I'll upload the full video after the live stream ends and clean everything up. So likely get the internet technicians out here Monday if I can, see what's going on. Hopefully there wasn't some storm damage from all the tornadoes last night. No telling. Alright, so we are currently off the coast of, what is that? Cross City, Florida. Or I'll pull up my Navagraph for you all so you can see what we're looking at there. And it's incredible how much the frame rate's improved once we got out of the Atlanta area. I don't know what's, I think Flight Sim's still having a lot of trouble with the Atlanta area. Okay, so here we are on the Navagraph charts. So we'll be coming into, what is that, Tampa Bay? Yeah, Tampa Bay here pretty soon. Should see it off the left wing. But we're zooming right along. You can see that. Wow. We're clipping right down toward Key West. Shouldn't be there. Shouldn't take too much longer. Alright, I'm gonna turn that back off. Tornadoes, oh no, you can keep that one. Yeah, they're not fun. Thankfully we didn't have any in the town where I live, but there were some nearby last night. And I know the Atlanta area was hit just south in Noonan, just south of the Atlanta airport we departed out of, and look like they're getting more storms tonight. Captain Shaquille O'Neal, I saw you flying the CRJ and X-Plane. How do you like it? You know, I liked it better about a year ago. I feel like I might have some add-ons in X-Plane that are interfering with it because I can't use nav mode in white needles on that CRJ 200. So I heard that Jay Roland's coming out with a patch where he's going to update it. But other than that bug that's affecting it, I liked it. This Aerosoft CRJ is definitely better at this time, but the J Roland, that's CRJ 200. That's probably my favorite CRJ. The only CRJ I know of that's in X-Plane 11, unless maybe there's a freeware out there. But have you tried flying that J Roland CRJ? Shaquille O'Neal? Because I think that might have been the first payware plane I purchased in X-Plane 11, just because of flying the CRJ in real life. You know, it's like if you fly a plane in real life, you want to buy it and check it out. So, all right, I'll need to do another fuel check, likely at Indu here. Coming up in 21 miles. So O'Neal, you flew it one time, didn't understand the CRJ, so stored it in the hangar for years. Yeah, alright. Well, I actually have probably like 1,200 more hours in the 200 than I do in the 700. So, yeah, if you, still have all my old documents and things. If you have any questions on it, yeah, feel free to reach out. That was, I will say the CRJ 200, it's almost like a sports car handling wise compared to the 700 and 900 because it's small, and as soon as you put inputs on those flight controls, the airplane reacts, and it's much more forgiving on landing than the 700 or 900. But yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. But cool airplanes, and it's actually, I think, more difficult to learn than the 700, 900, just because you'll see up here on the overhead panel, you have quite a few more buttons, like the APU bleeds. You have to have the engine bleed valves and the isolation valve and the APU load control valve. Just a lot more switches to fiddle around with as opposed to the 700, 900 where you just turn the APU on, leave the bleeds in auto, and it handles it all for you. Really nice. Alright, sounds good. Yeah, and if I don't remember the answer right away, I definitely know where to look it up. So yeah, I would love to try to dig into my library to help you out if I don't remember the answer off the top of my head, because it's been a few years since I flew it, but I still fly the J-Roll-On when I can. Alright, so this must be the Tampa area coming up, I'm guessing. Yeah. And maybe that's the airport right down there. Well, I don't have any fancy drinks like some other flight sim streamer friends like XP72 and V1, but I just have some sparkling bubbly today. But that coffee sounds good. Captain Matt, hey, I'm back. Glad you're back. I apologize for my internet troubles. Like I said, I'll keep trying to restart the live stream if it cuts out. And my computer is filming this video in its entirety, so I'll upload it after the flight's complete. So thanks for checking back in, Captain Matt. Okay, so we are showing 6,520 pounds at Endu, and we were planned to have 6,223 pounds. So we're still staying about 300 pounds ahead. That's good. That's good. So we're not having any unforecast winds or fuel leaks or something crazy. So that's good. All right. Captain Oatmeal, what was your favorite CRJ livery? Wow. You know, honestly, I just think the Delta colors look sharp, and I particularly like the new Delta logo. This is probably one of my favorites right now. And then there's some specialty planes. For example, it used to be called Atlantic Southeast Airlines. They had some pretty cool liveries that back in the early 2000s. That would celebrate some of the places they flew to. But those are probably some of my favorite CRJ liveries. I have not seen them in any of the flight simulator or X-Plane liveries yet. But if someone comes out with one of those old Atlantic Southeast Airlines liveries with there was one for Texas, and there was one for the Olympics in Salt Lake City back in 2002. If someone comes out with some of those, yeah, that'll probably be one of my favorites for a CRJ at least. And Captain Matt, do you have any questions for me again? Yeah, I guess you answered the one earlier about the aviation industry and what was the worst event that occurred. I think you and I both agreed November 11th, I think. Or no, you had said the incident in Iran. I think Mitch had said November 11th. So yeah, Captain Matt. Well, honestly, tell me about yourself. What sort of aircraft do you fly or really specialize in? Is it the CRJ? Captain Oatmeal, I love the U.S. Airways Express livery. It's my all-time favorite next to the Northwest Bowling Shoe. Northwest Bowling Shoe, I love it. Yes. Yes, I have a memory as a kid getting to fly on the Northwest Bowling Shoe 747 out to Seattle, and I loved it. Yeah, that was a cool one. Ansh, what's all your favorite airway? Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Captain O'Mill. Is Captain Matt, are you a real-life pilot? It's really cool to see all the real-life aviators that are getting into flight sim these days. So Vanch, like Emirates, Etihad, they have some cool, both Emirates and Etihad have some really neat liveries. I agree. I have not, I don't get to see as many of the foreign liveries since I live over here in the United States, but I know if I'd go to if you go to LAX or to New York Kennedy, you can see all sorts of neat international liveries in real life. Captain Matt 777 and 717, very cool. You know, the 717 is one that that's a plane I would love to try out. I think they have one in P3D. Is that correct, Captain Matt? P3D has a Boeing 717 payware aircraft. Vance, you are not a pilot yet, just a kiddo. Well, cool. Yeah, keep studying. Yeah, mental math is important, and then also just communication. Communication. And if you want to be a pilot, I would highly recommend when you're able to get on Pilot Edge. That's a great way to work on the just the aviation lingo and terminology and get comfortable with it. I've been very impressed with Pilot Edge. It's about as close as you can get to talking on the radios in the real life without hopping in a real plane. So Captain Oatmeal, favorite current airline is Delta, but forever and always will be U.S. Airways. Yes, U.S. Airways was a cool one. And then, you know, obviously they have the famed Captain Sully Sullenberger and First Officer Stiles with that Miracle on the Hudson. That's probably one of the U.S. Airways memories that's seared in my head. So, so thankful that that aircraft got down without anyone perishing. So that was a miracle, it really was. Captain Matt, at Captain Oatmeal, due to medical issues, I am not, but I am a virtual pilot. Wonderful, wonderful. And you are a pilot, yep. That's what I say to all of you. If you're watching my stream, I consider you a part of the crew up here. So if you all see anything that looks out of place, please let me know. Crew resource management is critical in any of these flight decks. So if you all are on here, you're a part of the crew. And yep, let me know if you see anything out of place. At Captain Matt at VREF, I don't know about that thing you said. Yeah, I had heard that there was a Boeing 717 payware aircraft in the newest version of P3D, but I do not own P3D at this time. I basically need to get a new hard drive with the I basically only use my computer for Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane 11. It's just, they take up a lot of space. Vanish, you like Emirates, and Captain Matt, you're also an artist. Cool. Well, I have a question about that, Captain Matt. What is your favorite form of art? That's really cool. Captain Oatmeal, you have your private pilot's license, but will begin school again soon. Very cool. That's quite an accomplishment, Captain Oatmeal, to get the private pilot's license. That's a huge first step in getting into flying, for sure. And let me check and make sure we aren't. I wonder if we're gonna have anyone online. Looks like no one's online right now as we're heading down toward Key West. It's too bad. Vanish, has anyone seen The Captain, a Chinese movie on Prime Video? I have not. I'm guessing it's available here in the US. I'll have to go look that up later. I do have Prime Video. Yeah, it looks like no one is online on air traffic control right now going into Key West, so that's all right. That's all right. We'll keep on rolling here. So one thing we're going to have to do is make sure we do not miss starting our descent at the proper time. At Captain Matt, you paper and ink artist. Very, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I am not a visual artist, you could say. Just play a little bit of music, but nothing that is too great. So I think that is highly impressive. Paper and ink art. Sounds really cool. Captain Oatmeal, next to my daughter being born, it was my biggest accomplishment. Absolutely. That is a big accomplishment. And I gotta ask you, Captain Oatmeal, you got to enjoy the, were you anxious going into your check ride? I remember being quite anxious, especially for that first check ride with the private pilot's license. You know, you spend all this time preparing, and then you're gonna go meet this, I had to fly halfway across the state I was in to go meet a designated examiner. Didn't know the guy. Was so nervous, but he was a nice gentleman and fair examiner, and put me at ease right away. I just remember those butterflies that go into the check ride for a private pilot's license. And Bench, you shall try. It is the best movie according to me. Bench, I will have to go check out The Captain. Thanks for the recommendation. Sounds really interesting. Just get a quick exterior view here. I want to check out the Florida coastline. Good thing about flying down the west coast of Florida, I mean, whoa, that's a cool, what is that? I don't know if any of you all know much about Florida, but that is an interesting, it almost looks like the Galactic Empire Imperial symbol from Star Wars or something. It's like, huh. Alright, so we are currently at flight level 370, 30 miles out from Key West. I'm going to put that in here. KEYW, 30 nautical miles out. We want to be at 10,000 feet and 250 knots. That's our target that we're looking to reach. So we would have to lose 27,000 feet to get down to 10,000. So if we multiply the amount of feet we have to lose in thousands by 3, that's how many nautical miles out from that point we need to descend. So is that 81 miles out plus 30 out from Key West So 111 nautical miles out. So pretty soon we need to go ahead and begin our descent. I'm actually going to start that now. I'm going to set in 10,000. And then I need to brief our approach. There we go. 10,000 is set. So I think something happened when I was loading in the flight plan. It's not giving us good top of descent yet. So let's see. Let me check the messages here. Vanish, you shall. Captain Matt at VRF, what state are you from? Tennessee. Tennessee is where I live. And Cap Matt, that's an old radar station. Great, thanks for the update. That looked really cool down there. Bitch, yes, it's a biography of Chinese plane which broke its windshield over the Tibetan range. Okay. Cap Oatmeal, you were scared out of your mind, but remembered the long nights, early morning studying, so I did what I always do before flying. Tapped the left wing 2 times and you aced it. Absolutely. Well, congrats again on the private pilot's license. That's a huge accomplishment that not many people get to experience. So congratulations to you. Very definitely proud of you, man. That's really cool. All right, so we'll begin our descent now. I'm gonna pull the thrust back just a smidge, and we'll begin our descent down toward Key West. So one neat thing that should happen is we should get our magenta banana bar showing up here soon, which will show us where we're projected to get to 10,000 feet at this point. So, whoa, sorry, the frame rates went down a little bit as soon as we started our descent here for whatever reason. So we have that green ring there. That's our target to be at 10,000 feet, 250 knots. And I'm going to go ahead and load in the RNAV approach to runway 9 at Key West. So at the departure arrival page here, and we're already on the Key West arrivals RNAV to 9. And we're actually going to go to the Chet's initial approach fix, if that will, which is off of Sting. So we'll do Sting here, and let's check out the legs page, make sure all of this looks normal. The airport, then we have Sting, then Chet's, Atnaw, Busby, runway 9, and then Burpee, Goosell for the hold. That all looks good. Always make sure you're still, go back to the first legs page, you're still headed to the fix you're supposed to be going, and then we can execute. So there we go. Alright, so that's all set. Cat Oatmeal, you were just in Tennessee, Gatlinburg. Very cool. Got some Sugarland moonshine. Yep, good stuff. They always have that around there. And did you get to go skiing at Ober Gatlinburg, Cat Oatmeal? It's always a fun time. Cat Matt, VRF, do you have any other questions? Let me think. What do you primarily draw with your art? With pen and ink? I guess that would be my question. Cat Oatmeal at Bash, thank you. You'll be next. Oh yeah, there you go. Great question, Cat Oatmeal. To Nate, what's your favorite arrival you've flown in this sim? Alright, look at this. We're coming to the end of the line for Florida, and the Keys are going to be somewhere out there in the distance. I'm going to go ahead and set the speed bug to 250 knots here, just so we have that as a target when we get down. Alright, so let me pull up Navagraph just to make sure. Make sure it's not, and if it blocks the screen too much for you guys, please let me know in the chat. But I'm going to try to brief this approach like we normally would. I'm going to be using my EFB that's actually in on my desk here, so I think you all can see no problem there. Okay, great. So we're looking at Key West International, 4th of May, 18, 12-1 RNAV, GPS runway 9. It is visual meteorological conditions down there in Key West right now. Let me pull that up really quickly on my phone. I have an app called Aero Weather, and it costs maybe $3, and it'll pull up METARs and charts and things for airports around the world. But currently in Key West, the winds are 0 at 10 knots, 10 miles visibility, clear skies, temperature 25, dew point 22, altimeter is 3014. So definitely landing runway 9. And like we said, our first fix is going to be Sting, and we need to be at or above 3,000 between Sting and Chet's, then Atnall at 15, at or above 1,500, Busby at or above 1,500, then runway 9, missed approach, Burpee, climb to 3,000 direct Burpee, and via 077 track to Goosel and hold. So that all looks good in the FMS there. We are going to actually fly what's called a Campa approach, which is a constant angle, non-precision approach. So if this gets set up right, we should get a white snowflake here on the right side of the PFD, and we'll be able to descend at a 3-degree glide path into the runway. It'll almost be like an ILS, except you're going to have to control the vertical speed yourself with the vertical speed mode in the autopilot. Whoa, sorry about that. So maybe you can see here the the MDA that we use in the CRJ, it's going to be the LNAV. You can't use the LPV, you can't use the LNAV VNAV, you use the LNAV minimum. If you're going to be doing a constant angle non-precision approach, you add 50 feet to that. So 580 plus 50 is going to be 630. So I'm going to set that right now in the MDA window. So let me close that down. We'll set DH. Set 630 in the MDA window. Hold down Shift. It'll help the scrolling to go a lot faster. Alright, looks like we have our banana bar now. You can see it there. It's going to be right about when we get to that green arc I put in on the fixed page at 30 miles out. Alright, so 630 is set. And let me pull up that chart again. I want to show you all something here. You might already be familiar with this. If that's fine. If you are, I just have to review it for myself going in on the approach. So coming in, highest obstacles at tower 311 feet, and flying that Campa approach on a 3-degree glide path, we'll be descending at 743 feet per minute at 140 knots, so about 800 feet per minute, and then we'll just increase or decrease that based on whether we're above or below the snowflake. Rail lighting, Pappy on the left side of the runway. And after we land, really short runway, 5,076 feet. And look at this, landing beyond the threshold, it's 4,801 feet. So just enough runway for the CRJ. Right hand turn off at the end, likely echoes straight into the ramp. So that's our plan. So let me close out the Navagraph chart, hide that there. Alright, so we're at our flight level 180 now. Let's set our altimeter setting 3014. Is cross check. Let's get landing lights on, all of this. I don't need the logo or wing inspection. We'll get the seatbelt sign back on in the back. Landing elevation is set. It's actually, let me go up. It's 30 feet, so let me increase this just one more notch. It's at 40, so that's above landing elevation, which is perfect. And we need to get our approach speed set. That's the only other thing we have not done yet that needs to be done. So V2 is going to be 146. V2 is going to be 146, so we hit that select button there. There we go, 146. And V1, I'm going to, in the real plane you could get that to disappear. It won't do it in this, so I'll set it to the same as VREF, which is going to be 138. So 138 for VREF at VR there. And then VT, we'll flip this back to the target, and it's 193. And you can hit set. It works just fine on the takeoff. Sometimes on the landing it does not set the VREF right, so I just manually set that. So we have our speed set 138, 146, and 193 for VT. That's all set. I'm going to turn off the EFB so it doesn't accidentally change our aircraft state on us. And I'm going to decrease our descent to 1,000 feet per minute now. There we go. And that might have been too much. Look at that. You see that banana bar go way out? So we have what, 3,000 feet to lose now. We multiply that by 3. That's 9 nautical miles if we descended a 3-degree path. Which to get that, you multiply your ground speed times 5. So 5 times 300 is 1,500 feet per minute. And we have well over 9 miles before we're at that ring, so. Alright. We catch up on some of the, well actually let me do the descent approach check and then I'll catch up on the messages I missed, guys, while I was doing that briefing. So arrival check, altimeter is 3014, cross-checked. Landing data is set, pressurization is checked, cabin is descending now. Passenger signs are on, external lights set. Arrival briefing complete. Arrival check complete. Alright, so let me catch up with y'all here on the chat. If I can get it to work here. Alright, there we are at our next fix. I'm going to take us direct to Sting now. So we'll say we're clear direct to Sting, and we can, I'll level us off at 10,000 first, so we can slow to 250 knots, and then we'll begin our descent down to Sting at 3,000 feet. We're out over the ocean now. Beautiful, beautiful weather down here in South Florida. Alright, so Captain Matt, pen and ink, art, planes, people, and ships, very cool. And Vance, your favorite approach in the game is Lukla in Nepal. I have not done that yet. I definitely want to check that out. And Captain Oatmeal, your favorite approach, Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Landings where you fly over cruise ships. And guys, look, now we have that VNAV snowflake that's showing up. So that, I'm not 100% sure that it works super well in the Aerosoft CRJ. It does work once you actually get on the approach. I tested that out the other day, but sometimes it hops around a lot compared to this VNAV snowflake in the real plane. But the thing is, you have to manually adjust your vertical speed. And here's a quick trick. This blue, this cyan dot, that shows the vertical speeds you need in order to stay on the snowflake. So you don't have to sit and just guess, but you will have to manually set that in the vertical speed mode. So we're now at 250 knots, 10,000 feet. Or maybe, I'm going to keep us at 250 knots, 10,000 feet for a bit. And then we'll descend down here in a little while once we're getting a little closer to Sting. Keep our altitude in case we have a problem out over the ocean here. Alright. Captain Oatmeal, so much knowledge, I'm loving it. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I'll try to share what I can. Sometimes it gets busy when you're flying and there's a lot of stuff you're thinking. It may be hard to verbalize it at times. That's one of the things that's difficult about flight instruction, is verbalizing it in a way that people can learn it. But absolutely. So Cap Matt, VREF, guess what state you are from? I'm gonna guess California. I think you said you're in Pacific time, right? Vanish, does the CRJ have reverse thrust? Yes, it does. So in order for the reverse thrust to work, you have to arm these thrust reversers down here. So typically I'll get that when I go gear down flaps 30. That's usually when I go ahead and arm these. And that's part of the landing check. So we're at 10,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and give the flight attendant the bells so they go ahead and get the cabin ready. And but yes, it does have, CRJ does have reverse thrust. Captain Matt, yep, you answered that. Excellent. Bench, VRF Simmer, I have a challenge for you. Do as smooth a landing as possible. You know, I'm going to try to butter it in the words and the lyrics of Swiss 001. I'm going to try to butter this landing. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to start a slow descent down to 3,000 feet now. Let me set 3,000 in the altitude selector window. And we'll go down at about 1,000 feet per minute. I'll let us accelerate a little bit to 250 knots. Okay, so here, so one of the big things when you're flying in a flight crew environment is making sure that everyone up on the flight crew has a shared mental model. And what I mean by that is all of us are expecting to see the same thing at the same point in the flight. So my goal is for us to be at 3,000 feet at Chet's and at 180 knots with the flaps at 20. So if I am not doing that by the time we get to Chet's, please say something to me. Bench, thank you for the luck for the landing. We'll see how it goes here. Yeah, this is a short runway. This is actually one of the runways in real life. If you're a captain that has not landed here, they take you down with a training pilot for your first landing at Key West, because basically if you're not going to land at the touchdown zone, you have to go around. There's no wiggle room in a jet, especially a transport category jet at this airport. Alright. So let's see here. Following our snowflake down, as you can see. We're right on track. Cat Matt, if anyone else has any questions, please ask. Don't be shy. Cat Mobile, when you get a butter, you call it a grease mode active. I like that. That's great. Grease mode activated. That's really catchy. Alright guys, I think I see Key West. It's way out there. But like I said, I am gonna shoot the RNAV. Or it's one of these islands out here. I think that's Key West. But I'm gonna shoot the RNAV. I'm still checking out this Aerosoft CRJ, taking it through the ringer. Okay, so here's one thing that you look for in real life is you want to make sure that when you're in white needles, which is using the GPS RNAV, it goes into terminal mode. That changes the sensitivity of the course deflection indicator, the CDI here. So, and I think it does not do what happens in real life. In real life, when you're within 2 nautical miles of the final approach fix, it'll say GPS approach, and that needle gets extra sensitive because you're getting close to the ground. But that is something you want to check within 30 nautical miles of the airport, that it changes to terminal mode, especially on a GPS or an RNAV approach. VREF, how old am I? I am in my 30s. So, alright. I'm going to increase our rate of descent here. You can see we have that banana bar. That helps you with your planning. I want to, like I said, I want us to be at 180 knots by the time we get to Chet's. So I want to have us leveled off at 3,000 feet, a little bit between Sting and Chet's here. And typically if you're clear for the approach, you'd hit the approach mode in the CRJ if it's an RNAV approach. They don't have that modeled yet because see, it'll go to roll mode. So we'll have to stay in nav. But when you hit approach mode on an RNAV approach in White Needles, that's what lets the course deflection in White Needles move to that extra sensitive mode of GPS approach when you're getting near the final approach fix. So in real life you wouldn't want to forget to hit approach mode on an RNAV approach, but we don't have to worry about that right now in the Aerosoft CRJ. Alright, so we're coming up on 18 nautical miles to Chet's. Captain Matt, you're turning 21 in Vegas in May. Oh, very cool. Fun place to turn 21. Have a happy early birthday to you, Captain Matt. Alright, I'm going to reduce our vertical speed now since we're within about 1,500 feet. 1,000, I'm going to roll our speed back to 180 knots so we'll be right on track for our target there. And do a quick check, make sure we're not over our maximum landing weight. So we have 5,200 pounds of fuel on board. Our zero fuel weight was 61,000 pounds. So yes, we are at a legal landing weight. There are the keys out there, guys. Alright, 4,000 for 3,000 feet. And I mean, look at this. The frame rates are great down here. I guess clear skies. We're not by a busy airport. For whatever reason, flight sims really having frame rate issues around the class, the big airports, the class Bravo airspace airports like Atlanta, Dallas, New York, LaGuardia, like we had the other night. Now I have 51 gigabytes download remaining on flight sim. Well, you're getting there, right? Every gigabyte is a step in the right direction. So, alright, Alts cap. We're leveling off at 3,000 now. Captain Oatmeal, VREF, do you want to fly for another airline sometime or a different kind of flying? You know, I think I've actually started a different career now, and I'm happy doing it. I think I'm just going to fly on the side, and if the opportunity presents itself, yeah, I do plan to do general aviation flying, and if I need to in the future, get back to the airlines. But I did enjoy my time in the airlines while I was able to do it. Vanch, Captain Shaquille O'Neal, do you like approach at night or day? Captain O'Neal, you prefer day so you can see the scenery, but you like the challenge of landing at night. Yep, I completely understand that. Alright, we need to start slowing us down, guys, so I hit that target like we briefed. If y'all are wondering, I'm going to try to follow a profile that I did post in the training series I posted on the CRJ. Those profiles are available for free. I think that was episode 3. Yeah, it was episode 3 of the training series where I have the profiles. Alright, so one thing here, we'll go down to 1,500 feet. So when you outs cap on a non-precision approach, set the next altitude in. That way you're ready to go. So we're at 200 knots. I'm going to go flaps 1. Hopefully this autopilot will keep us at 3,000 feet. Look at that. It drifted almost 100 feet below. Yep. I'm guessing maybe this is the flight simulator autopilot with a bug. Flaps 8. Yeah, I agree. I like looking at the scenery during the day. Nighttime is fun though, especially in instrument conditions. I love nighttime instrument conditions. Captain O'Mill, thank you. You wish me nothing but a long tailwind and grease zone activate on your endeavors. I appreciate that. Thank you. Grease mode activated. I like that a lot. Alright, so 0.3 nautical miles prior to Chet's, we'll begin our descent down to 1,500 feet. So that's usually the lag time. That's what they'll teach you in the airlines and the CRJ. At 0.3 nautical miles, by the time it starts descending, you'll be past that fix. So we're getting really close, guys. 0.6. There we go. Let's start our descent now. I'm going to take us down at... you have to hold down the button in this plane. I'll take us down at about... we'll start at 1,200 feet per minute. Maybe 1,000. Let's do that. Alright. So when we level off here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set our missed approach altitude, which is 3,000. That'll let us wait for this snowflake to come in just prior to Quest, and then we can begin that constant angle, non-precision approach, where we're just going to follow a 3-degree glide path all the way down to the runway. Alright. So we'll level off here in just a little bit. So when we get to 5 nautical miles from our final approach fix of Busby, that's when we want to be, we'll need to go gear down, flaps 30, and typically I'll arm the thrust reversers at that point too. Just went to flaps 20 now, since we're about to intercept the final approach course. Outs cap. Okay, so outs cap set next altitude. That's something you should always think on an RNAV approach in the CRJ. Outs cap set next altitude. So we're setting our missed approach altitude here. That way we can descend. Like I said, we're getting close to our final approach fix. So watch, this snowflake on the PFD is going to reset. It's coming back up because we can't go below 1,500 feet right now. That's our minimum altitude on this segment of the approach. Alright, so we're coming up on... and look at that. We slowed down quite a bit. Captain Matt, Infinite Flight is going to have version 1 clouds and terminals at major airports next month as an update. Very cool. Definitely look forward to that. I have to check out Infinite Flight. Okay, so there's our 5 nautical miles, so gear down, flaps 30, slow back to 160 knots. They don't quite have the drag and thrust worked out yet in Aerosoft CRJ, but overall it's not too bad. Alright, so we're at 160 knots, and then 2 nautical miles from our final approach fix of Busby. We'll go flaps 45, bug ref plus factor, which is going to be 5 knots today, and do our landing check. I'm going to start a slow descent for us here. I'm not sure that the VNAV snowflake's really working, but we definitely don't want to be high. There it goes. It's coming back now. Alright, so we're at 2 nautical miles, so flaps 45 and bug ref plus factor. You get our thrust back up. Thrust is definitely delayed in this simulator version. Like I said, 0.3 nautical miles prior, we can do our we can start the full descent. I'm going to go ahead and start it now. We're on a Campa, so we'll do about 900 feet per minute, get us back on. There we go. We need to level off here for a second. We're right at 1,500 feet. And we're waiting on that 0.3 prior. There we go. Here we go. 800 feet per minute. And landing check. Gear down. Down. Flaps 45. 45. Thrust reversers arms. And let me box the status messages there. Landing check is complete. I do have the runway in sight. Dead ahead. I think these are supposed to be some cruise ships here. I think with my internet having issues today, it's not loading the scenery as well. So It'll probably look much better on y'all's computers when you load up Key West, but alright, we're a little bit low at the moment, so let me reduce our vertical speed to 500, get us back on the glide path here. It's 1,000 instruments are cross-checked, gear is down, we are cleared to land. Let me announce we're on final. I haven't let anybody know we're coming in here yet. Key West traffic, Endeavor 5787, 3 mile final, runway 9er, Key West. So there's a cruise ship, guys. So Cat Mill, this might be a cool approach for you. Maybe get that Orbix scenery on X-Plane 11 for Florida and Key West. Check it out. Alright, so at the MDA, here we are at the MDA. You go ahead and disconnect the autopilot, hand fly it from here, and this Aerosoft, when you disconnect the autopilot, make sure you hit that bar back up, otherwise you're not going to be able to re-engage the autopilot. It pulls that bar down at this time. Alright, so I'll try to keep us coming down at a decent rate. Looks like we have pretty much winds are right down the runway, which is good. We're just a little bit to the right of the center line. Trying to correct us back to the center line here.
100.
And reducing vertical speed.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Yeah, hopefully that gets down here. Come on, airplane. There we go. And full reverse thrust. You can see this is a short runway for a transport carrier. There's 90 knots, so thrust reverser's back to idle. Somebody's taking off the other way. Hopefully I can. I'll get off the runway before we hit each other. How about that? That's cool. Alright, there we go. Clear right, clear left. We're going to turn left here. There's a van driving at us. Alright, let's start our timer really quickly. I'm not going to worry about the vehicles. It's like X-Plane where you have those crazy rampers driving everywhere. So we need 2 minutes to cool the engines down after you've exited the runway. So there we go, we got that. And flaps up. And after landing flow. For that after landing flow, we just come up here, make sure we have all the anti-ice set. I'll turn off the windshield and the probes. Get this here. It's definitely easier to see from the first officer's seat. Get our lights all set. Leave the nose light on, the recog taxi on. Start up the APU. And turn off the radars so we don't fry anybody on the ramp. There we go. I'm going to take us in down this right here at Alpha 11. And Key West traffic. Endeavor 5787 taxiing to the commercial terminal via Alpha 11 Key West. And we'll clear out the flight director. And if you weren't in White Needles, you usually go back to White Needles now. Also clear out the MDA. Just hit the center of the MDA knob here. And let's see where an open parking spot is. Man, that was good, bro. Thank you so much. Evan Moore, nice. Thank you. Captain Matt Butter was so smooth. That was like a baby. Thank you. Oh, man. I appreciate the Captain Oatmeal. Amazing job. Runway is a pancake, you bring the butter. Man, we can make a song out of that, right? Make our own remix for Swiss 001. Let's see, where do we have an open parking spot? Looks like there's one up here, so I'm going to take us around. We'll get this tug out of the way. You never know where you can park in Next plane, there's somebody with a CRJ 700 getting ready to take off out of Key West. Very cool. Maybe we can go shift into drone mode and check them out here after we shut the plane down. Alright, so one of my subscribers wanted me to demonstrate how to shut down the engines because it is a little tricky. Alright, get out of the way, my man. I'm just going to run them over. I would not do this in real life, I promise, guys. I would not do this in real life. It's just a simulator. Okay. Oh man, just trying to get enough thrust to get us up around. And this scenery I have here for the airport at Key West, this is the one that's available in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. So this is not the default one. You can see they have some cool stuff there, like some people standing at the terminal with the special, I don't know what that thing is, like a buoy. Alright, this will be close enough. Look at that guy, look at him. He's still sitting, somehow went through our entire fuselage and wing. Very impressive. Alright, let me set our parking brake. And let's go through our flow for parking. So, parking brake is set. Got the flaps up. And I'll turn off our lights here. APU is started, so we do have AC electrical power. So to turn off the engines, typically it's easier if you come over here a little bit to the right, hit the red tab first, then you just pull the thrust lever all the way back to shut off. So same thing for one there, pull it all the way back to shut off, and there you go. That's how you shut down the engines. And then we just come up here, we'll go through a quick flow, turn off the fuel pumps. This is the first flight of the day. You check the fuel check valve, which will be shown in an upcoming video. We'll turn the beacon off, get the seatbelt sign off so everybody can get off the airplane. You know, people are always ready to get off the airplane, right? And let's check our hydraulic quantity before we turn off those hydraulic pumps. So they're all in the green, which is what we want to see. And hydraulic pumps can come off now, if I can get them to go. And let's run the parking check. Parking brake is on, which always verify it with this green advisory message. Transponder, I didn't set that to standby yet. Let's do that. Standby. Radar's off. Flaps 0. Seatbelts off. Anti-ice off. Electrical is set. Fuel check valve not required. Thrust levers are in shut off. Fuel pumps are off. Ignition off. Hydraulic checked off. Beacon off. Nose wheel steering. I need to turn that off. That's why you always do a checklist. Alright, parking check is complete. Alright. Well guys, thank you all so much for joining. Captain Matt, parking the plane is like putting a pacifier binky in a baby's mouth. That's right. Hey, Cap Oatmeal, you love this community. Me too, man. It is very family-like, and I appreciate your streams too, Cap Oatmeal. I'll be tuning into yours soon. All right. Well, guys, let's open up the door, and then I'm gonna go check out that CRJ out there that's taken off. I'll close this out with some music too, if I can get this EFB to fire up. We need the door to open, or no one's getting off, right? All right, here we go. Doors open, wheel chocks are in place, we'll get a power cart connected. Alright, very cool. Alright, well guys, thank you all so much. Welcome to Key West. And wow, isn't this weather the exact opposite of what we saw up in stormy Atlanta? So this would be a nice place to be. Thank you all so much again for joining. For now, VREF Simmer signing off. I will plan to post some videos later this weekend. And as always, take care. See you all in the air again soon.